All right, hello my friends, Andrew at Microphonic Designs here with a quick video. This is sort of an in-between video from the sound design from scratch to patch. We're actually going to take a look at editing a preset and then saving that in a few different variations to have quicker access to the same patch with, like I said, slightly different variations. So in episode number 3 of Sound Design from Scratch to Patch, we put together a rise and hit style effect. I ended up calling it Delayed Lowboy. And I built this, or programmed this, with like the rising effect was just a single beat, right? Like a single count. And so what I want to do is go through this preset that we made and reprogram it to have a 2-bar riser. I want a single bar 4-count riser, and then I'm going to do an 8-count riser as well. So basically we're going to have a few different variations of this one sound effect. And I'm also planning on changing the BPM delay that's in there from eighth notes to quarter notes, simply because a lot of the tempos that I would use this type of sound with are much higher. I mean, we're talking 150 BPM and up, and I've got it at 172 right now, which is a pretty standard tempo for a lot of marching band programs. And again, that's I do a lot of work with marching band programs doing sound design, coming up with these rise and hit, like cinematic stinger sound effects and whatnot. So I'm planning to change that eighth note so it's a little more friendly with these higher tempos. So the way that I plan on doing this is pretty simple. It's a bit tedious because with this particular sound effect, we used quite a few different envelopes to make it happen. So the plan is to basically go in to each layer, and for all of the envelopes that are synced up with the tempo and the DAW, we're just going to be dragging the impact point back. So for example, I want to take this from a 1-count riser and I want to move it to a 2-count riser. So we would basically take this spike and put it on count 3. Or the bar that's labeled 3. So that would essentially mean we've got the riser going from count 1, so it's 1 count, and then 2 counts, and then on 3 is the hit. I'm probably over-explaining that, but that's the idea, and I've got quite a few different envelopes to go through to make that happen with. So I am going to get started on that, and then I will be back with you once I've got that done to sort of showcase what it looks like for each different variation. So hang tight, and I will be right with you. All right, so here we are, and I've gone through and I've done 3 variations on the original delayed lowboy sound. So let's open up Omnisphere. So I've got so it's the same patch again, but the length of the riser is adjusted for each. So we've got the original, which was a single count, and it also still has the 8th note delay on the B layer. But then for the 2 count, which I have on part 2, you'll see we've labeled this as delayed lowboy half bar. We've also got delayed lowboy 1 bar, so that's 4 counts, and I'll go back. Here we go. So I've got Omnisphere on the right part of the screen here. Sorry about that. So again, original, part 2, I have the half bar or 2-count version loaded in. On the 3rd part, I've got the 4-count version or the 1 bar, and then we've got the 2-bar version as well. And interestingly enough, when I was going through and making these tweaks, again, it was primarily to the envelope, and it was easy enough to come over here and hit edit and then halftime, right? So what that did was basically extended the envelope to twice its original length. But what I didn't really keep in mind when I was doing that is that it was also affecting the tail, right? So I sort of have my own drawn in decay here, so that as I'm holding down the note, the sound decays, which is what I wanted for this. So I didn't factor, so I actually had to go through and adjust a few envelopes like manually instead of just hitting halftime because it adjusted that, and I didn't want those to be held out so long. Again, I really just wanted the riser to be affected. So really on the A layer, and I think the D layer and the A layer for this, there's the, oh, and you know what? Let me fix the output here. We're going to mute that. There we go. Okay, so now it sounds right. So that's the original, and I actually drew in MIDI notes so that we could hear each of these. So I'll put the metronome on as well, and let's make sure that the metronome is going to come out the correct outputs. There we go. Right, so I've got the tempo at 172. That's the 1 count. Now let's mute that, and let's listen to the 2 count. Yep, so there's the 2 count. And you heard that quarter note BPM delay on that B layer. Now let's check out this one. And I didn't mean to turn that channel off. I just wanted to mute it. Here we go. Yep. And then we've got the 8 count, which I should have renamed. There we go. Yeah, so again, just a fun way that you can go in and edit pre-existing presets to have faster access to certain versions of them. So again, with this particular type of sound, that riser sound effect, I wanted to make sure that I had quick access to a couple different versions so that I can get ideas laid down a little faster. So I hope this helped. Not really hitting the sound design aspect itself too much, but again, I just thought it would be a fun aspect of Omnisphere to look at, and sort of a tool that you can use to adjust some of the sounds that maybe some of your favorite sounds, but you find yourself continually needing to change certain components of the sound. So as always, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you dig this type of content. Omnisphere is not the only synth that I have. I do plan to get into others in the future, but for now, Omnisphere is my absolute favorite. So again, if you dig sound design stuff and Omnisphere in particular, hit the subscribe button. Also leave a like. That is always just so great to see. That support is always appreciated, and I will see you guys next time.